you've got two fighters, two brothers you're working with. Can you tell us a bit about them two fighters and how far do you think they're gonna go?
The Barrell brothers.
That's right. Yeah. Tell. I don't think the fight fans know about
Oh,
the
they're
brother.
very interesting guys. You know, they're born in America. They're Jamaicans, but they're educated in England. And so they've got an interesting story. You know, they got the British Jamaican accent going on, and they're good guys. They're very disciplined, very respectful, very hardworking guys. And we're just starting to work together. So you come back and ask me about them in 6 months. But I think they're gonna do fine. I think they're gonna do fine because these guys know how to be professionals. You know, they understand the language of what being a professional is. A lot of guys have professional fights, but they don't conduct themselves like professionals outside of that.
Hmm.
Outside of the fact that they're fighting professional, they don't conduct themselves. They don't care about themselves. They don't focus the way a professional should. But these young men are professionals, and I'll look to do a lot of things with them. I have another young man up in Detroit, Emmanuel Lipscomb, 154, junior middleweight. He's going to be a hot item too. You know, he's only 21 years old, and he's coming too. I've got another young man in Boston, a heavyweight, 6'10", 270 pounds, Donnie Palmer. He's 5-0 with 4 KOs now, 6'10", 270, and he's learning too. He's on the job and he's learning. I expect that by this time next year, he should be just breaking into the sport, you know, making a good name for himself. But he needs this year to really get it right, to really get what I'm teaching him into a situation where he knows how to use the tools that I'm using to train him.
Okay. So you're talking about these two young.
Okay, I got a big one. I've got Oleksandr Usyk. He lives in the Ukraine, and he's the 2012 Olympic heavyweight gold medalist. Right now, he's 3-0. Yes, 3-0, 2-0. He's 2-0 with 2 KOs, you know. And he's the 2012 Olympic gold medalist at heavyweight, and he's campaigning as a cruiserweight. That's my big secret for the big guys. He's going to come through. I really believe it. He's a southpaw. He's 6'3", and he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter, and I'm expecting some big things from this guy in a short amount of time. I'm not going to have him fight 25, 30 fights before he goes. He's got over 400 amateur fights, so we're going to go after the meat and potatoes kind of quickly.
Okay. How old is he?
26, 27.
Good.
That's a good age for a heavyweight.
It's a southpaw. You just go to YouTube and check him out. Go to YouTube and check him out. Tell me what you think about him. His name is Oleksandr Usyk, USYK. He's the 2012 Olympic heavyweight gold medalist, and I'm saying that he beats all of the cruiserweights that's out there now. Every one of them. Okay. Every one of them. The ones that want to fight.
What, Machuna?
The ones that want to fight, not the ones that want to play tag, running and duck.
Oh, we going back to
Machuna. I think we're going back to Machuna.
Machuna again, isn't we? We go back to
you can you remember a middleweight named Ronnie Harris?
I know the name. He's from the 70s or 80s, I believe.
Ronnie Harris was a good fighter, but he just didn't. The crowd, the people can say, fuck Ronnie Harris. You know what I'm saying? Take Ronnie Harris. I think he was a southpaw. Take Ronnie Harris and put him in a shoebox and keep that secret to yourself. That's what's going to happen to Machuno. Machuno's going to beat Ola Afolabi, I believe. Mm-hmm. You know, Ola Afolabi is not going to be able to contend with that kind of style. So I expect for Machuno to decision Ola Afolabi. Ola is a tough guy, and he puts everything. Ola Afolabi came a long way. I respect him. But you got to... Machuno is just a difficult guy to box. He wants to lay back on the back foot, and he wants to counterpunch all night. He doesn't want to get into the fight. He wants you to fight, and he just counterpunch you and win the fight on decision.
Okay.
but Oleksandr Usyk is a horse of another color. He won't be able to do that with him. I think this kid Usyk will probably clip him and get him out of there because he's a good puncher. He's got 400 fights. He's got 400 fights. So I'm anxious to see what Usyk can do on a world stage. I already believe that. I've already seen him in the gym. I've already worked with him in the gym. I've seen what he can do, but I want to see what he does under the big lights.
Yeah.
That's where you find out what you got, when you go under the big lights. So that's what I'm working with. So I got my hands busy. In fact, I'm looking for Usyk to fight on Vladimir Klitschko's undercard. So I'm going into the camp tomorrow, and let's see. Next week he should be in the camp. That'll be great.
You know what? About the twins, because a lot of people are listening, and just to clarify their names and. You know, and are they amateur? They're obviously they're turned professional. How many fights have they had? And each.
I just started working with the guys. I know they've got over 10 fights. Both of them got over 10 fights. One of them got 2 losses. One of them got 1 loss. You know.
Yeah. What weight class and stuff? And what's that? So what's the first twin? Which is the first twin we're gonna talk about? Because you're working.
Yeah, twins, so you can start when you want to start.
No, yeah, because I know, because for the people listening, so they can go up and research, you know. So we start at one and go to other. So, go ahead.
Actually, I really can't tell them apart yet.
Not really.
I'm looking for distinction. One of them is a little bit taller than the other, and I'm trying to remember which one was taller than the other. So I have to get used to them. I have to get a little bit more used to them, so I can tell them apart. It's difficult for me to tell them apart because they're identical.
So
I got little body features or tattoos where I can say this is Dean and this is Scott. But right now it's very difficult for me to tell them apart. I'm telling you the truth. It's just when they're together, it's just so difficult for me to tell who's who.
Yeah, you got to familiarize yourself a little more. So
do you know which part of London? Do you know which part of London they're from, or which part of England they're from?
No. Like I said, we have to get used to each other. We've only been working together for a handful of days.
Yeah. Because I did one on Facebook. I'm gonna interview them. I'm gonna interview one of them because I got Jamaican descent. I'm very interested. There's not many Jamaican fighters. The last one, Mike McCann and Razor Ruddock. You know what I'm saying? So and we got another guy out there, Nicholas Waters. But
I'm really excited about him.
Huh?
I'm really excited about these guys.
Yeah. So am I. I mean, I'm definitely interested.
Really excited about them because they showed me their worth in this last fight. They wasn't fighting world beaters, but they were fighting good guys that were standing up, good guys that was trying to win.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they followed the instructions so smoothly to the letter, and they went out and they executed. And they executed in a fashion where they had to take risks. And they didn't hesitate to take those risks. You understand? And they were in a zone where they could have gotten in some trouble too. And I like the way they ended the fights with body punches, you know?
Okay.
Both guys ended the fight with body punches.
Yeah.
So you was saying with the 2 Jamaican kids you were saying they've got that professional focus. So when you're running into a lot of these young fighters who you say haven't got it, can you be specific on what they're lacking in terms of discipline and technique or listening to coaches? What is it?
Well, they think that they approach fights. They come in the gym 4 or 6 weeks. They train. All right, I win the fight. Then I do what I want to do. They're eating wrong, and they're abusing their body with the weed and the alcohol and the women and stuff like that. Good professional fighters don't do that kind of stuff. You know, they don't do that kind of stuff. They stay away from that kind of thing, you know, and keep it at a minimum. But I know professional fighters that they're doing the same thing that normal people do. You know, comedy clubs, you know, drinking, you know, women, you know, and they do it to a point that when they get ready to go to camp, they're always 25 pounds overweight. I know guys that be 25, 26 pounds overweight. You know, if you're gonna abuse your body like that, then how can you ever be something? You know, you can never be nothing if you're gonna abuse your body like that.
100%.
You know, you have to be. Boxing is a religious sport. guys there?
We're taking it in, man. We're listening.
You know, boxing is a religious sport. You know, I mean, I never saw Marvin Hagler really out of condition. Every time I saw him, he was in condition. You know, so when you get guys coming in, that's why I have a problem with the weights where guys are coming in at, you know, you come in the fight, you weigh in at 135, but the night of the fight, you 154.
Okay.
You're
saying that's excessive?
Yeah, I'm saying that's hypocrisy to me. That's crazy. You know, you weigh in at 35, and the night of the fight, you're 150. But I think that the IBF got the best rule. The IBF has a rule where you can't be no more than 10 pounds over the weight the morning of the fight.
Yeah, but
now, if you want to, that morning before the fight, the IBF said that you got to weigh only 10 pounds over the weight. You're only allowed to come in. If you weigh in 135, you can only be 145 the morning of the fight.
Okay.
And you have to pay a penalty if you're any more than that.
Why are you saying that?
So that's a good rule.
Are you saying that because the fighters are indisciplined, or they're taking advantage of their opponents?
A lack of discipline and disrespect for the sport. Nobody should weigh in. Nobody should weigh in. If you fighting at middleweight, what do you look like, man? If you weigh in at 160 and then the night of the fight you're 175. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. If you weigh in 160, what about one coming in at 170? You know, 168. But these guys are coming in at 175, 176. I'm saying, aren't they middleweights? Well, why are they fighting at light heavy? So it's hypocrisy to me. You know, I don't like that. You know, one of the fighters told me that I was an outdated relic because I said that boxing should go back to the old days when you weighed in the day of the fight. Man, that's unreal. It's unreal because the guys don't want to work to do that. They don't want to work.
But
if you ever weigh in, I don't buy that stuff. Talking about water on the, you take the fluids off the brain. Everybody's a scientist, you know.
Yeah.
It takes too much fluid off the brain and this and that. Bull. That's a bull. You understand? That's went on for years. The guys can make the weight if they start training ahead of time. But these guys are trying to cram 6 or 7 weeks into 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, but isn't that empirical study why they do that? In correlation with injuries in the ring, isn't there actually a case that they should weigh a day before?
I think that some doctor did some kind of research and said, okay, this is the best way to do this here. But he's never been in the ring, so what does he? I mean, come on. You know, come on, he's never been up in the ring. What are you talking about? Come on. So they say, okay, we're not going to have 15-round fights tomorrow. We're going to have 12-round fights. 15 rounds, that's brutal. That's too hard on the fighter. That sent the wrong message to boxers. Because most boxers say, shit, I can easily do 12. I ain't got to work that hard. But when it was 15, they said, man, I have to work because it's 15 rounds. So now they cut it from 15 to 12 rounds. Now boxers have this lack of discipline because I can do 12 rounds. You know, those 3 extra rounds are truly the championship rounds. Because you see fights now where everybody's sitting back saying, damn, I wonder what would have happened if it was 3 more rounds. Everybody is saying it. Oh, man, if it was just 3 more rounds, we would have really found out something about these guys. For instance, if Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard fought the first time for 12 rounds, who would have won the fight?
Good point.
In the very first fight between Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard, who would have won the fight?
Tommy would have won the fight.
Yeah, would have got it on points, yeah.
Tommy would have won the fight.
Tommy would have won the fight. All right. If Mike Weaver and John Tate fought 12 rounds the first fight, the only fight, who would have won the fight?
John Tate. He was way ahead.
If Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier fought 12 rounds the first fight, you know, who would have won the fight?
Joe Frazier.
Joe Frazier would have won the fight. But Ali had made it closer going in those 3 rounds. He made it closer.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying? He made it close.
Yeah.
With those 3 extra rounds.
Mm.
So when they took away the 3 rounds away from the 15-round fight, those 3 rounds left something to be desired.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
left something to be desired. Sure, the guys are tired. But look at it. Most of the time when a fighter gets hurt, he gets hurt within the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Mm.
Most of the fights in history, most of the dangerous fights in history where somebody got hurt, they got hurt in the rounds between 1 and 8.
Mm.
That's where the danger. That's where the big problem happened at, between 1 and 8. If you look through history, you find out where the injuries came in. This Magomed, this last fight, when did the injury happen?
It was a 10-rounder, wasn't it?
Yeah, but when did it happen?
I don't know when injury happened. I
happened.
think the first injury was in the first round or something. The first round. Yeah, it was the first round.
So who's the Einstein that says, "Oh, these rounds put the fighter in danger"? The fighter's in damn danger when the bell rings. Boxing is a dangerous sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I always heard from the 80s, and I've even had it confirmed recently, they only took it from 15 to 12 for advertising purposes.
They messed the sport up when they did that.
Yeah.
They put a shovel full of dirt on boxing when they did that.
Oh dear.
Had already brought it down from 20 rounds to 15, and now 15 to 12. If anything, you should have said, "Let's make it a 13-round fight. Keep the number odd." You understand?
Yeah, I got you.
That 13 round would have break it up. You come up with a 12-round fight.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. They messed the sport up, and they think that they got it right. And they always got a bunch of yuppies around the ring like they know what they're doing. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
A bunch of doughboys and stuff around the ring, ordering people around, sitting all in the way, getting in the way, and don't know a left hook from a shoestring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really, oh man.
So I was gonna bring up, because when I was listening to Ingram's interview, you were saying that when you're training your fighters, you feel like the ghosts of all the guys who taught you are watching you, and you feel like, say, you try to honor them and respect them. Like you were saying about your hand wraps, when you was doing hand wrap and some goes up the scene, and basically like you do tremendous respect because obviously all the trainers have taught you. So you go into that a bit.
I feel that the people today, the managers, the trainers, the promoters, everybody over the people who have laid their lives on the line to make this sport what it is. So whenever I go to the ring, inside the gyms or inside the fight, I always get the impression, something in my spirit said, that the ghosts of the greats are here watching you, to see how you handle yourself, to see how professional you are. So being professional is a great display of pride for me. When I go to the fight, I want to be the most professional guy there. I want to be the most knowledgeable guy there. I want to be the guy who has the best application. To know something is one thing, but to have the proper application at the proper time is another thing. Boxing is timing, man. Boxing is timing. Man, you ever see the trainer say, "Just keep running, keep running." The guy says, "Oh, he's behind." No, but you can't let go of the plan. The plan is to get the guy to follow you, and then you stick something in on, and then you take charge. So application, you got to have ingenuity in application. A lot of guys know boxing, but they can't teach it.
Right.
You ever have a teacher in school that both teach a particular subject? Say a teacher teaches science, but all the kids like to go to one teacher that teaches science, but hate to go to another teacher because the other teacher is not flexible. You understand? You can't get away with murder in this class. You have one teacher say, "Look, you guys can fool around, but I need you to do the work first. Once you do the work, you got 15, 20 minutes left. You can do what you want to do." You understand? Then another teacher says, "You can do the work, but you can't do no plan. You can't have no fun, no nothing." Everybody says, "Man, I don't like to go to his class. I like to go to her class because she lets you have." You understand? So application is a big thing, when you're doing something, you know?
Mm.
The people in boxing today, everybody's a wise guy. Everybody's got a pair of mitts. Everybody think that they got the plan. And I look at these guys all over the world, and I see so many blatant mistakes that they're making when they're training boxers. When I was a youngster, I stayed under the Slim Jim Robinsons, the Sam Solomons, the Bobby McQuillers, the Tommy Parks. You understand? The Eddie Alieros, the Percy Richardsons. You know, you name it. You name it. I was always under them. The Walter Smiths, the Bill Millers, the Luther Burgess. I always asked questions. I took note in my mind about what done in training fight. How can you learn if you don't go to the professors? How do you learn?
You're saying that basically the apprenticeships are not being served by the younger trainers these days. They're just
because they're wise guys. They come into the sport and they think they know everything, and they don't know nothing. Every one of us comes from the womb knowing nothing. Everything that we learned in our lives, what do we learn? We learn from the behaviors of others. When we come from the womb, what do we know? We know how to go to the bathroom on ourselves and eat food and beg from our mothers.
Okay.
Everything we learn from the behaviors of others around us. So yeah, when I go to the ring, I go there and I feel the presence of the ghost of the great ones at that ringside. And I feel like they're right there. Their spirits say, okay, let's see what you're going to do. You understand? So now you got a bunch of young people in the sport that claim to know it all. I know what I'm doing. I'm training so. And God forbid they get a champion. If they get a champion, you really can't tell them nothing. You understand? So you got a bunch of young, wise guys, and that can apply to life in general. You can look at young, wise guys all over the world, you know, and they can't tell, they won't listen to nothing that an older person has to say because they know it all. And I sit back and I watch them make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. The Mayweathers, the Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather, good trainers in their own right. But this young man, Floyd Jr., born to fight. He's a natural born fighter. That runs in their family. Jeff, Roger, and Floyd Sr., it runs in their blood. So naturally, Floyd Jr. adapted that in an honest way. He's a natural born chip off the old block. You understand? But look what they've done with other fighters. How many other fighters have they brought to fruition?
Can't think of any. But you'll find that with most
How many of them have they brought? Say that again. How many of them have they brought to fruition?
Apart from Floyd, it's hard to mention.
There's none.
There's none.
There's none. Oscar De La Hoya. I'm echoing a bit, Mr.
Oscar De La Hoya was already a fighter.
Yeah, I know. That's the only one. But other than that,
He was already a fighter.
Yeah, see, you got me already. I'm gonna be honest with you because I know you're brutal and I'm brutal as well. I'm gonna tell you straight out, flat out, none. There's none.
Because they had their reputation was built off of what the result of Floyd Mayweather Jr. And this guy is so disciplined and so focused and so tough. When I say tough, Floyd Mayweather Jr. is tough mentally and spiritually and physically. So they made a reputation built off of what Floyd Mayweather Jr. I'm calling a spade. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just calling the truth. They've done more with him, and because of him, he has made a pathway for his uncles and his father. He's made a path. He's made a living for them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
because of his success, they're riding on his success.
You see, but all right, you get guys like Eddie Futch, right? You know, definitely a talented trainer. But if you look at Joe Calzaghe's dad, if you look at he's only got Joe Calzaghe. Angelo Dundee, from what I heard, didn't actually train Muhammad Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard. That's what I heard, right?
Dave Jacobs trained Sugar Ray Leonard. David Jacobs.
Okay.
David Jacobs is the man responsible for Ray Leonard. He did more with Ray Leonard than anybody else. Right? Sugar Ray Leonard was trained by Dave Jacobs. Dave Jacobs never. Mark Breland was trained by George Washington. George Washington is the author of Mark Breland. Nobody knew that, you know.
Yeah. But you see,
so you know, you get the one. You get one. I had this kid Maurice Harris. My most successful fighter was Maurice Harris.
Heavyweight.
Heavyweight Maurice Harris. I did more with him than I did with anybody else. That was my coming out card, you know. I mean, I trained Shannon Briggs, Jamil McCline, Monty Barrett, but my coming out card was Maurice Harris because he was my project. I got him from the root, and I raised him in the sport. He only had 7 amateur fights. He lost 5 of them, but he turned out to be a pretty good heavyweight. But he lacked discipline. Yeah. But he was the best guy that I had trained. He followed my instructions to a letter. Whatever I told him to do, he could do it on the drop of a hat. The guy was just a talented guy. Yeah. I had him sparring Ray Mercer, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, and he always was able to do what I asked him to do on the drop of a hat. So he was my crowning achievement, if you will.
Yeah.
That's it.
He actually took Amir Mansour the distance recently, actually.
Yes. I didn't see the fight, but they said that he gave Amir Mansour a pretty rough go.
I haven't seen the fight.
I didn't see the fight, you know. But they said that he gave Amir Mansour a pretty rough fight, so.
Yeah, but see, my point was, apart from, you get Eddie Futch, you get Emmanuel Stewart's, but even like, I went to Angelo Dundee, but even like, and Joe Calzaghe's dad, but even when you come up to guys like Virgil Hunter, he's only got Andre Ward, and people talking about him like a great trainer, but Andre Ward is the only thing I've seen manifest from out of the stable.
Exactly. Being a trainer is a work in progress. You always go in process. Every trainer can't train every fighter. Every trainer can't train every fighter. Some guys get a natural bond, and they're able to go further than they could go with anybody else, the two of them together. But Andre Ward and Virgil Hunter, they've been together a long time, all right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Mayweathers, you know. They've been together a long time, you know. And whether it's the father, whether it's Roger, the parlay between the three of them, they get the job done.
All right.
Andre Ward, Virgil Hunter, they get the job done. But outside of there, look what happened to Andre Berto.
I want to ask you a question. You might find
what happened to Angulu?
Yeah.
You know? So and the same thing that's what happened to Khan.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question. I want to get into Amir Khan soon. But you might find it a stupid question, but do trainers make fighters or do fighters make trainers? Generally.
I think it's a partnership. I think it's a partnership because I've seen some trainers that didn't really know boxing well, but the fighter has so much faith in them that trainer and only that trainer can get the fighter to do things that nobody else could. And the trainer might not be that advanced, but that particular trainer can get the fighter to do stuff that nobody else can.
Yeah.
So I think it's a partnership.
Okay.
I definitely think it's a partnership. But I do say this here, that trainers can learn from fighters. Trainers can learn from fighters if they don't be too cocky, too arrogant. You understand? Yeah. I always listen to the fighters. I always listen to it. And I say, okay, let's try to do like this here. And they tell me, I like to try this and try that. I say, okay, let's try it. And if it works, I say, yeah, I see what you're saying. I've learned so many things from Vladimir Klitschko. I've learned so many things from Lennox Lewis. I've learned a lot of things from Tim Witherspoon. You know, if you listen, you can learn something, you know. I've learned a lot of things from Maurice Harris. I've had Maurice Harris since he was 14, 15 years old. And I learned a lot of things from him. Because he was in the ring boxing. Remember, he was the guy doing it. He was boxing Mike Tyson when Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson. And this kid wasn't but 212 pounds. And he was handling Mike Tyson back then.
Okay.
And he was handling Lennox Lewis back then. You get in touch with Lennox Lewis, mention Maurice Harris to him. And I guarantee you Lennox going to speak good about him.
Okay. That's
all right? Something. Mention Maurice Harris to Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson going to talk good about it. Mention the Ray Mercer. and he's gonna talk good about him because they know the kid can fight. He can fight. He was a hell of a good fighter, but he didn't work hard. He wasn't disciplined. He lacked discipline, but he was a hell of a fighter. And I went a lot of places because of him. You know, he did a lot of things. He fought a war with Derek Jefferson on HBO.
Oh gosh, I was going to talk about that fight. Was you in the corner in that one?
Yeah, I was in the corner.
You must have been scared for his health the way he got knocked out in that one, man. That was frightening.
Yeah, but I was very proud of him. And let me tell you something. Derek Jefferson was never the same fighter after that fight.
Yeah,
he was never the same after that fight. Derek Jefferson was finished after that fight.
Yeah.
Jefferson weighed in at 240 pounds. Maurice Harris didn't weigh in, but about 212, 210.
Yeah.
He was a little guy, you know. Maurice Harris fought James Thunder on 5 days' notice and knocked out Jimmy Thunder when Thunder was knocking out everybody.
New Zealand. He comes from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maurice knocked him out. He ended his career. So, I mean, Maurice has been in there with the who's who. He beat Larry Holmes in the Garden. He beat Larry Holmes, and they gave Larry the fight. They gave him the fight, and that's exactly what I felt was going to happen. That's why I didn't want him to take the fight.
Right.
I said, don't take this fight because if you don't knock him out, you're not going to win. Because they were trying to make a fight between George Foreman and Larry Holmes. They're not going to let nothing get in the money. They had given Larry some money to retain it and George some money. Non-refundable money. So I said, they're not going to let nothing get in the way of that. So if you don't knock him out, you're not going to win. And exactly what I said would happen, happened. It went the distance, and Maurice lost the fight via split decision. You know? But I knew that was going to happen.
Well, that's probably where he lost his ambition when he got a shot against Holmes and didn't get the verdict. I've never seen the fight, though.
He got shorted a couple times in his career. But he was that journeyman. He was that guy.
Yeah.
He was that journeyman, you know. But he fought a lot of good fights. I won a lot of places with him, and I respect him for that. I have respect for him. Any guy that go out there and put their lives on the line and fight, and he always did what I could tell him on the drop of a hat, he'd go out and do it. So, you know, you have to give those guys respect for that.
The Derek Jefferson fight, I mean, Derek Jefferson was actually hurt when he threw that punch.
Jefferson was knocked out himself.
Yeah.
He was dead.
Yeah.
Had Derek Jefferson missed it, well, Harris was trying to throw a hook too.
Yeah.
They both were throwing hooks. And Harris got caught. And that was a clean knockout.
Amazing,
you know?
stuff.
Then Harris, remember, Maurice Harris got knocked out by Frazer Kendall on the Roy Jones Ruiz card.
Wow.
On the undercard to Roy Jones Ruiz, Maurice Harris was knocked out by Frazer Kendall in a fight that he was winning.
Yeah.
He was winning the fight. And got knocked out. So, I mean, that's why I say you can't be critical of fighters that go in there and do that kind of stuff. Because Jefferson knocked him out that night. I said, Lord, I thought he was dead. He hit that floor hard. Yeah. And the two knockouts preceding that, when Derek Jefferson knocked him down, I think second, third round, he put him down hard, and I thought the fight was over. He got up and knocked Jefferson down. That was a good fight.
Yeah, it was. That was a pro.
That was the HBO fight of the year. You know? So when those guys go out there and do that kind of stuff, nobody outside of boxing can say or has the right to say nothing until they put the gloves on and go up and I stay away from that. I respect them all.
100%. If you want to say anything about boxers, go watch that fight and put some gloves on. 100%. 100%.
Did you see when Tommy Hearns and Iran Barkley fought the first time?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Brutal, man.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Did you see that knockout?
Yeah. It's bad, man. It's bad. Devastating knockouts I've ever seen.
But the amazing thing was that Iran Barkley took those kind of body punches and headshots from Tommy Hearns before he knocked him out. Did you see the beating?
Yeah, it was bleeding. Yeah,
he said the body shots didn't hurt him after.
He was in pain, man. It was rattling. He looked like he was in pain, but he didn't care. He kept coming forward.
Yeah, but he was them body shots was hurting him.
Yeah. It was like a wounded bear. He was just
See, he was getting hurt so much that he felt like he wasn't getting hurt. He was getting hurt, and he came back and he knocked out Tommy Hearns. That's why I can't understand for the life of me. This guy is not in Canastota.
Yeah, that's another thing. The people they putting up.
He knocked out Tommy Hearns. He knocked out Tommy Hearns in his prime.
Yeah, he did.
And he came back and beat him again in his prime.
Light heavyweight, yeah.
And the man is not even he's not even the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? You got commentators that's in the Hall of Fame. So what is the criteria for somebody to get in the Hall of Fame? What do they got to do? Die?
Yeah.
It lost all credibility, man. They put Rocky in there. They put Arturo Gatti in there, and it's a sports writers. It's like certain people paid off certain sports writers.
You got Arturo Gatti. Ivan Robinson beat Arturo Gatti twice in his prime.
Yeah.
Why isn't Ivan Robinson in the Hall of Fame?
That's right.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Ivan Robinson beat Arturo Gatti twice in his prime.
Yeah.
In his prime, Ivan Robinson took him to school twice, and Ivan Robinson is not in there. So I'm saying it's hypocritical. The Hall of Fame is hypocritical. You got Sylvester Stallone in there. He's an actor.
Yeah. Yes.
You got a statue down in Philadelphia where people come from all over the world to see that statue.
Mm.
He's not a fighter.
Yeah, he ain't do nothing. In Philadelphia, he ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing.
Well, that's the game, man. Bartley's career, he gave us many great fights, man. Many great fights. And, he was a warrior. But he was getting that WBC pension thing. What's happened to that?
So you got this guy, here he is, you got Rocky, you got a fictional character, all right? Mm. You're there, and you have a statue, and people come from all over the world to take pictures with that statue. And I'm resentful about it. I'm resentful about it because so many great fighters came out of Philadelphia, and you got a fictional character there. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just not right. I mean, you got so many great fighters that came out of there. Gypsy Joe Harris, Benny Briscoe, Matthew Saad Muhammad, and the list, Joe Frazier. The list goes on and on and on. You know what I'm saying? And then you got a guy, a fictional character, a movie, and you make you got him in the Hall of Fame, and you got fighters that. There was a kid out of Indiana years ago. His name was Harold Brazier.
Yeah, I remember Harold Brazier. Fought Meldrick Taylor, I think.
Harold Brazier fought everybody, sometimes on 5 days' notice.
Yeah. Durable.
Harold Brazier, durable. It fought everybody. He fought everybody, and the man's not in the Hall of Fame. I bet you Harold Brazier had about 108, 109 fights.
Yeah. More than likely, yeah.
All you have to do is call Harold Brazier and say, Harold Brazier, we got a fight here. We need you here in Buffalo, New York on Friday night. He'd be in Indiana, see I'll be there.
What about guys like Sol Mamby or guys like that? He fought for so many years. He was a champion. He fought till he was about 50, nearly 60. You know?
So I'm trying to figure out what is the criteria to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. See, it's hypocritical. You know, you got a bunch of people who's hijacked boxing.
Yeah, they've hijacked
boxing.
Yeah, they have.
And the powers that be, they make the rules. You know.
Yeah.
But I look at it like they're a bunch of fools, man. Because who boxing purists know that this stuff is bullshit.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? You can't have.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have the guys there because they didn't win the world title. Really? I mean, really? You're not going to. Well, they didn't win the world title. Well, neither did some of the commentators that you put in the Hall of Fame. Mm. In fact, they never even had a fight. So how did they get in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I'm saying? Guys like Harold Brazier should be in the Hall of Fame because all of those fights he had, all the people that he fought, qualifies him to be there. If you could bring in a commentator, certainly you could bring in a guy that had 108, 109 fights who fought everybody. If we go right now to Harold Brazier's record and look at the who's who on his record, you'd be amazed. you know. But, you know, like I said, the powers that be, they control the boxing. You know, they want to push that BS. Well, this is what's going on. This is what really is, and things like that.
Well, the thing is, yeah, every time you cut, because there's actually a lot of people like they love to hear what you speak, and a lot of people I've talked to, they love to hear you sing. So even though you're saying this now, people are listening to you. They'll go and do the research, and that's how things are. See, the thing is, every time you speak out, and this is a social media network where guys like me and Beats, we're allowed normally. So you've got a voice, and everyone's listening to you. Listen to this telecom.
What about Michael Olajuwon?
Oh, like I remember him.
Michael Olajuwon was a dynamic fighter. He's not playing. But I'm saying he's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he was a light middleweight, innit?
No, full middleweight.
He was a middleweight.
Full middleweight. He fought
light middleweight. Yeah.
No, full middleweight. He fought Bartley, Frank Tate.
That guy. Yeah.
Well, Barkley and Hearns, those guys. He was a middleweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a fighter. He was fighting. He should be in the Hall of Fame. These people, the people, in my opinion, the people that's in the Hall of Fame, they shouldn't be there by themselves. The people that made them great should be there. The people that they competed against should be there too.
Well, you'd probably say Frank Tate, the guy who beat him, should be in there before him because he was a good champion. Frank Tate, he was a decent fighter. I remember when he floored Olajuwon in that fight.
Michael Dunn in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Michael Dunn's not in the Hall of Fame, no?
No, it's not.
Oh man. Guys like Sumbu Kalambe.
He might do when he comes. He might when he comes out of jail, but at the minute it's not. It used to be 50.
People in the Hall of Fame posthumously.
Yeah.
Why you got to be out of jail?
Yeah, it's true. But it used to be. I think it used to be 15 years before you could be eligible. But I think now they cut it out to 5.
Michael Nunn been out of boxing over 15 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And he was a very competitive guy. I don't think that Roy Jones would fight him.
No.
I mean, he was still fighting and asking for Roy, screaming for Roy. And Roy acted as though he didn't want to compete against him.
Yeah, that's right.
I ain't saying Michael Nunn would have beat Roy.
I think he could
I'm not saying that Roy would have beat Michael. I'm just saying that Roy did not seem interested in fighting.
Yeah, because he was awkward like Montel Griffiths. Like we was watching the Montel Griffiths #1, and Roy didn't. He had no clue, and Michael Nunn could have gave him the same looks. Confused him.
Michael Nunn was quick. He was tall.
Yeah.
He could box, and he had some pop too. He had some pop.
Mm.
He has some pop. He can hurt you.
Yeah.
All tall, skinny guys like that can hurt you. And he was constantly screaming for Roy. He was constantly screaming for Roy. Wouldn't fight him.
How would someone like Michael Nunn?
I don't know whether Roy would have beat him or not, but I sure would like to have seen that fight.
Yeah, I would have liked to see it as well.
Yeah.
I would like to see Roy fight Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, Collins, Darius Mikuszewski, any of those guys. I want to see Roy fight him.
Yeah,
Collins, five guys he'd fight.
Yeah, Collins still wanted to fight him. He came over here like last year, and Collins still was telling him I want to fight, and Roy was avoiding it.
Yeah.
No, he's just avoiding the whole topic. He didn't want to fight him.
There's 5 guys: Collins, Ben, Eubank, Mikuszewski, and Nunn. 5 guys that with his career closed down, and he didn't fight those 5 guys.
Closed down,
yeah. And look. You take Floyd Mayweather Jr. Didn't fight Margarita.
Costa Zoo.
All right, outside of that, he didn't fight Margarita.
Yeah, go on.
Didn't fight Paul Williams.
No, he didn't.
He did not fight Miguel Cotto in his prime.
No, he didn't.
I just want to see. I still want to see him fight Pacquiao. I want that fight. But I know if the fight don't happen this year, then it's a lost cause. It's already really a lost cause, but it steals some life in it, steals some spark in it. I think Pacquiao will beat Bradley.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think Pacquiao is going to beat Bradley. I think he's going to beat Bradley.
Okay.
I wanted Bradley to win the first fight, but he didn't win that fight. He didn't win that fight. Now, I can't see how the judges got it screwed up like that. You know, I'm watching the fight. There's no way that he won that fight.
Oh, I think Tim's going to give him a different...
Did you watch the first fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. I had Pacquiao winning. But I've got Bradley winning the next one.
Did you watch the first fight?
Yeah. Yeah, I had Pacquiao winning, but I've got Bradley winning the rematch. I think Bradley's going to take it.
I had Pacquiao. Listen, I wanted Bradley to win. But I had Pacquiao winning the fight going away. It wasn't even close.
No, I don't think it was that far. Well, I thought he won quite convincingly, to be honest.
No, it was quite convincingly. I ain't saying that he won 9 rounds to 3, but I'm saying that he won, you know, like 8 rounds of that fight.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, probably. I thought he won the fight, but I think Bradley can win the rematch, though.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think Pacquiao will get him.
All right, that's good. All right.
Pacquiao.
So let's talk about the inside. Let's talk about the fact that the whole social network is talking about. That we reckon a lot of people feel that definitely Louis Kolazo is going to beat Amir Khan. I feel so. Or I talked to him. I think so. What do you think? I think Amir Khan's looking past him. What do you think?
I picked Amir Khan to win the fight.
Tell us why. In this
Desperation. He got to win. He's a back-to-the-wall fight. Not technically. I think Louis would beat him technically. I think Khan gonna win the fight because he got to win the fight. That's why.
That's the only reason why you're picking him. But he ain't never fought at welterweight. And Louis, even though Louis...
Guess what? Well, guess what? I got Khan. Because I think Khan come out there and bite him on his kneecap to try to win that fight.
Man.
Nah.
I could see Khan getting knocked out. I don't know why.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because you know Louis beat like Ricky Hatton. He beat, even though he lost unofficially, and the Berto fight, and he's got the timing. All he has to do is just do the same thing with Garcia. Just wait to Khan finish the flurry, and then time him, and that's it. And you know he doesn't like getting shots. And his last performance in lightweights was getting rocked. So that's the reason why a lot of inside people are picking thing. But I hear what you're saying though. He knows he has to. I agree with you, but I don't think he's got
Same thing. I think that Louis Kolazo got the style to beat Amir Khan.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking Khan out of desperation.
For him, but
he's going to be he's a wounded lion. He's got to win this fight.
He has to,
If he doesn't win this fight, he needs to just get on his horse and ride into the sunset.
It's a good matchup.
And look, and let me tell you something else. The same goes for Chris Arreola. He's got to.